where, I don't know, that to get through Officer Miller's testimony, I don't know what all is going to be asked, obviously, to go with maybe like 115 and then break.
I'm sure the clerk will stop you when we get to that. But I will try to.
Yeah, I
keep an eye
mean,
on
you
the
have to
time
try to
slot.
pick a time that makes sense before you get into something else.
Thank you.
Detective Miller, next.
Mr. Allen,
Okay. Raise your right hand.
do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, so help you God?
Detective Miller, could you please state your full name for the record?
Thomas Miller
And Detective Miller, where are you currently employed?
with the Metro Nashville Police Department.
And what is your current position with the Metro Nashville Police Department?
I am assigned to the Surveillance and Investigative Support Unit.
And what does the Surveillance and Investigative Support Unit do with the Metro Nashville Police Department?
Our primary role, or my primary role within that unit, is digital forensics. So I'm tasked with extracting or imaging data that resides within digital evidence, then processing that, analyzing that, and providing that information to the investigator of that crime.
And does that include analyzing cell phones?
Yes.
Is that kind of a primary focus of your day-to-day
That is
activities?
yes. That's a majority of the type of evidence that we receive in our computer lab, our digital forensic lab.
And how long have you been in that position with the police department?
3.5 years.
And prior to being at SISU, what did you do before that?
I started in patrol, as all police officers do. After a few years, I became an adjunct firearms instructor for our academy, where I taught firearms and tactics on a temporary basis, just while we had trainees in the academy and actually learning there in the academy. I would be assigned out there temporarily during their firearms portion and help instruct that. Then in 2019, I was assigned out there full-time, where I was our department's lead firearms instructor for a period, and then I was assigned to our armory, where I was in charge of issuing, maintaining, and repairing all the different types of firearms that we have and issue to our officers.
So you have a varied background. Can you describe specifically your training in digital forensics?
Yes, so it's a constantly evolving world, digital forensics. You guys all have cell phones, so we know that new cell phones come out on the market all the time, and then on top of that, it seems like we're getting a new update for our phones every week, a couple times a month. With every new make and model, with every new operating system, there's new bits and pieces for us to learn as investigators. So you're really a constant student is the best way I can describe it, is that things evolve so much and so quickly that we're constantly having to learn. I've had over 300 hours of coursework material and instruction. I've also had 3 years of working with tenured experts in this same field that oftentimes I would argue is better than in-classroom instruction because you have just one-on-one education, people that have been doing it for years and decades. So that's kind of a bird's eye view of my education in this field.
Do you have actual certifications in digital forensics?
Yes, I have a number of them.
And I guess, can you estimate how many, did you train with other experts in digital forensics kind of at the beginning of you getting involved?
I did, yes.
And approximately how many devices have you analyzed?
Hundreds. It's hard to put an exact number. Approximately 1,000 devices come through our lab every year. And me being there for about 3.5 years, you're looking at roughly 3,000 to 3,500 devices. By no means have I put my hands on every one of those, but on a vast majority of those, I have assisted in some way in their processing.
And are there other people in the SISU lab that also analyze digital devices?
Yes.
Have you previously testified as an expert in digital forensics?
Yes, I have.
And how many times have you testified?
11.
Your Honor, at this time, I would proffer Detective Tom Miller as an expert in digital forensics.
Okay. Okay. Again, ladies and gentlemen, jury, Detective Miller will be allowed to give his expert opinion in digital forensics, and a lay witness will not be allowed to give, and you can place such testimony, such weight on his testimony as you choose. All right.
Detective Miller, I'm going to ask that you be handed an item.
Thank you.
Do you recognize the item that was just handed to you?
I do.
And what is that item?
This is Jade Benning's cell phone.
And can you describe how did you become involved in this investigation, and was that device, I guess, one of the initial pieces of evidence that you analyzed?
Yes. So the process of which we receive evidence in our lab, when investigators collect them from either crime scenes or from individuals that they're interviewing, there's a number of ways that they can turn them into us. One of which being a series of lockers that have charging ports inside of them. And they can insert the phone into the locker, plug it up, make sure that it's charging, lock the phone up inside of that locker with a chain of custody form and the appropriate paperwork. Typically, those phones reside in that locker until we receive some sort of legal process to then extract information from those devices. So whether that's a search warrant or a signed consent form or something giving us legal authority to do it. So it normally sits there until we receive all of that paperwork, and then we bring it into the lab, and that's when we start working on it. If we're there in the lab at that time when the detective is wanting to turn it in, there's often times where they'll just knock on the door. We'll go and just receive that from them directly and bring it directly into the lab.
And did you analyze that phone in that same manner?
Yes.
And you were talking about the fact that you have to have a legal process. Did you actually run more than one extraction on that device?
We only ran one singular extraction on this device.
And can you describe what an extraction is?
Yes. So simplest way to describe it is it's ultimately a copy of the information that's on the phone. We have a number of pieces of hardware and software that have exploits that can break into phones, but also when you have the password, it makes things a lot easier, a little bit faster. So those tools will then remove the data, well, not remove it, but they will copy out the information. They aren't removing anything from the device, but they the tools will then extract the information from that device and then place onto a computer, which then we plug into software that then processes it. Because if we looked at the data that came directly out of the phone, it's databases, and it's really ugly and hard to ingest. When we process it with our software, it makes it much easier for us to examine them, because it ultimately puts it into a form that's very similar to what you would be seeing on your own phone that we're all familiar with. So the software really helps out a lot with that.
The first time you did the extraction, once you have the extraction, what do you do with it?
That extraction then moves to our server from the tools that extract the data from the phone. That information or that data that is copied out from the phone is then entered into the software that I was just describing. That software processes it and then sorts it out basically and separates it into different folders and organizational systems to make it a little bit easier again for us to digest. Then it will then take the information that we give it from, say, the search warrant that might have a time frame. Typically, the entire device is not necessary for a crime that occurred on a specific day. So maybe months leading up to it. All investigations are going to be a little bit different, but many search warrants have a time frame. So when we input that into our software, it cuts out all the extra noise. So everything before and after that time frame is then just kind of set aside, and only that information within the time frame is then placed into the software for us to give to detectives.
And did you go through that process more than once for this particular device?
We did, yes.
And what was the, I guess, longest time frame that you used?
The longest time frame in the end would be from January 1st, 2022 to, I believe it was a day after the incident, February 26th, if I'm not mistaken. And
can you describe how much data was included in that time frame of approximately 13 months?
Forgive me, I can't speak to the exact number of gigabytes that were in the final copy. I know that the device itself had 127-ish gigabytes on it, but that may not sound like a lot, but when it's decompressed and then it's placed one piece of information on one sheet of paper, we're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces of paper to display all the information within inside of that device.
And have you taken certain portions of the evidence and artifacts from that extraction to put into a presentation for trial this week?
Yes.
Is this presentation indicative of everything on the phone?
Absolutely not.
Your Honor, at this time, I would ask that the witness be passed a multi-page document. I think it's approximately 121 pages, and a disc. This has all been shown to defense counsel, who does not have an objection.
Okay. Edie, you want him to have them?
I would like for him to look at it, yes,
Okay.
Your Honor, just to identify it. If I can move the iPhone into evidence, the next one. Detective Miller, do you recognize kind of the content of that document?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask that you retain it, and then it will be entered as an exemplary exhibit, which I believe would be 29. And the disc, I guess, can you describe, are there 3 video files within this presentation?
Yes, 3 slides have a video that are going to play for us.
Your Honor, I have his report in a digital format, if I may publish that to the jury.
Okay.
Detective Miller, this is the first page of that report. Can you describe what we're seeing?
Yes, so this is a consolidated page where I've taken information obtained from numerous different locations, but it's all pertaining to Ms. Benning's device.
And does it have kind of information about her user accounts as well as her phone number?
Yes, so there's a number of pieces of information that would be assigned by the cell phone or cell service provider such as the cell phone number that would be down there towards the bottom. But a number of these pieces of information are actually provided by the user or the owner of the device, such as the name, the device's name, email addresses, things like that are associated with different accounts that are or applications that are set up on the phone.
And this is the second page. Can you describe what is shown here?
This is a progress report from one of the tools that extracts data from the devices. This is just pointing out, referencing the portions of information that would have been added by the owner or user of the device, and again, the phone number for the device. Again, you can also see the suggested or the estimated partition size of the device, which is 129 gigs. It ended up being 127, but it's suggested or an estimated size of the device. And it goes on to explain a number of other things as it pertains to the phone that the user would have had zero input from, the serial number, other numbers that are associated with the phone as well.
And page 3, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, so again, this is user or owner input information. So the owner or user would have placed their photograph inside of their contact information, their name. They would have placed their address inside there as well. The interesting thing to note here is that significant locations, Apple has an algorithm that actually decides what your significant locations are. So she didn't even have to put that in, but the iPhone suggested that was most likely her phone because of a number of different reasons. But just an interesting note there.
And is that one of the things that you're looking for is kind of user activity on a particular device?
Absolutely, yeah. These are some of the first things I look at on any device to try to identify the user and or owner of any device. So these are definitely very, very first steps.
And this next page, which is number 4, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, this is a consolidated list of text messages that occurred between Ms. Benning and Mr. Taylor for the final day of her life.
And are these a consolidation of messages from the evening of 2/24/23 through 2/25/23 at 6:55 p.m.?
Yes, and I know I did just say that it was from the final day of her life on the 25th of February. The reason the two at the very top are listing as the 24th is because they were either read or reacted to on the 25th. So that's why those are there, because there are still portions of that conversation still existing on the 25th. That's why you'll still see that date up there at the top.
And this is page 5. Can you describe what is shown here?
This is a series of texts. I believe this is just a different portrayal of what we just looked at. So just like you would look at on your own phone, all the conversation that you would be submitting, all the text that you would be submitting in the conversation, they'll be residing on the right side of the screen, or at least extending from the right side of the screen, and those responding to you or who you're talking with is going to be extending from the left side of the screen. So very similar to what we're all used to, and this is one of the reasons the tools that we use are so helpful, just for everybody to understand a little bit better.
And for the record, can you read out the first message, who it's from, the content, and the date and time?
Yes. So anything submitted from Ms. Benning's device is actually going to be referred to as local user, and then it's going to have in kind of parentheses there the type and make and model of her device that she had, which was an iPhone 13 Pro Max. It was sent on, this first message was sent on 2/25/23 at 12:26 p.m. And it states also, will you be free around 7?
And this next page, which is 6, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, this is a piece of location information that we located inside the device. It was where her phone actually stored her parking location when she parked at a Walmart as she was on her way home from work.
And that was at 4:05:48 p.m., is that correct?
Correct, yes.
And I am going to go back to slide 5. Is that kind of that time frame of the last text message that she received from Mr. Blaise Taylor.
Correct, yes.
And this next page, which is number 7, can you describe what's shown here?
Again, it's a series of texts between Ms. Benning and Mr. Taylor, spanning from 4:27 p.m. to 6 p.m., or around 6 p.m., I'm sorry, 6:03.
And the next image, which is page 8.
Again, it's another piece of location information that we located on the phone, showing that she had arrived home and parked her car there at her residence at 4:38 p.m. on 2/25/23.
And the next image, which is page 9.
This is where we start going into a timeline, and it's not necessarily a step-by-step-by-step timeline. So we're not showing every single thing that occurred in her phone, because if we really showed that, we'd be here all day. Because a lot of things happen under the hood, and when we're looking at it, we're looking at more of what she was doing on the phone, what she was using, or what application she was using, who she was conversing with, and things of that nature. So this is kind of a bird's eye view of what she was doing at her apartment with her device for that evening, starting at around 6 p.m.
And she receives a text message at 6:02 p.m. from Jerry's Porter, and then she sends a text message at 6:03. Can you read out the content and the date and time of that message?
Of the 6:03 message?
Yes.
Okay. It says, "Let me know whenever you are headed this way."
And the next image, which is page 10. Can you describe what's shown here?
Again, we're continuing on, and it's not going to be a minute by minute, just because we aren't necessarily doing something on our phone all the time, or at least most of us aren't. At 6:08, she received an email from one of her subscribed email groups that is subject is titled "Your Pregnancy, Week 23, Day 5." Then she receives a text from Mr. Taylor at 6:26 p.m. That states "okay," and then receives another text from Darius Porter at 6:43.
And the next image, which is page 11, can you describe what's shown here?
This is a post that Ms. Benning posted to Instagram. Appears to be a picture of what she was cooking that evening, with a phrase that she placed on top of the photograph saying, "If you know, you know."
And can you describe the artifact information and what the created date and time, as well as last access, last modified date and time, kind of what that means?
Yes. So depending on the application that was utilized to take a photograph, because we know that we can take a photograph with the typical camera application on our device, but many social media applications access the same camera tool, but you're actually taking that photograph with another application, if that makes sense. So when that's done, there's a number of things that certain applications will hold on to with that picture, and it will say it was taken on this date. Sometimes it'll say the location the picture was taken. Sometimes it'll say if the photograph was edited, so on and so forth. Number of different things that different applications hold on to. Typically, social media applications scrub a lot of your personal information to protect you as the user. So it doesn't have location information typically. So you're not posting that kind of stuff to the world to where somebody viewing it can say, "Oh, she's at home," or "He's at home right now," or "He's at work." So it's a security feature that the social media applications have. Ultimately, photograph was taken at 6:10 p.m. When it's last modified, that could be when she posted it, that could be when she edited it, if I could speak, I'm sorry. And those also could have been done at the exact same time, that as she was looking at the photograph that she just took with the application, she edited it and then posted it right after. So difficult to say exactly, but it's something along those lines.
And the next image, which is page, sorry, I need to go back. So we were just on 11, and so this next one is page 12. Can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, this is a series of messages from Instagram.
And can you kind of break out the content of them as well as the time?
Yes, so from Jade Tristan, which is Jade Benning's handle on on Instagram. That's her username, or what other people would see her as if they're looking at her page. She states chicken spaghetti at 6:17 p.m. on February 25th. States looks good just moments later. And then at 6:19, Bridget Burks liked the message and then said, "Are you making Alfredo at work, or are you off?" at 6:19:34. And then Jade responds, "I'm off tonight."
And this next image, which is page 13, can you describe what this is?
This is another post from Instagram that is posted with someone has written on there, "Guess what I'm making?" And it's in reference to the messages we just saw there.
And the time of this created, can you describe that?
Yeah, so created is going to be 6:16:44 p.m. And again, last accessed or modified is at 6:16:49.
And can you describe, is there data within this artifact where you were able to tell if this was something created by Jade Benning or created by Bridget Burks?
So it's difficult when some applications require internet connection and communication with that application's servers wherever they reside. When we have a device in our lab, we are disconnecting them from the outside world to preserve the data ultimately. So whether that's putting them in airplane mode or taking the SIM card out or a number of different ways, we are disconnecting them from the internet. So there's a number of things that are stored only on the servers for social media applications. There are some things that are stored on the device. They don't always coincide with each other. So when we disconnect them from the internet, there's a lot of things that we lose the ability to see, I guess, is the best way to explain it. So without serving Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat or whoever the social media service is, without serving them with some sort of search warrant and them providing us information that's on their server, we're limited to what's only on the device.
Did you have additional information outside of the artifact information and the extraction from Detective Breeze about this particular photo?
About this photo, yes.
And what was that information?
That it was submitted, that it was posted by Jade's mother.
And the next image, which is page 14.
So this is a series of Snapchat messages that were sent by Jade to a series of individuals, starting at 6:44 well, I'm sorry, they were all logged at 6:44 p.m. She sent 3 messages via Snapchat to the listed individuals there.
And can you explain Snapchat messages as it relates to finding artifacts on a mobile device? Is that something that is consistent, or how does that work?
It's very haphazard. It depends on user settings. It depends on how quickly we get a device after the conversation occurred. It depends on how many people were involved in the conversation. And again, this is another one of those applications like I was just referring to. It requires internet information or internet access for it to function to its fullest capability. So again, we're limited to what we see on the device itself.
And so, depending on settings, there can be additional Snapchat messages that you wouldn't find on the device. Is that correct?
Correct. Snapchat inherently is kind of designed as a security-based messaging system that if one-on-one you're having a conversation with somebody, those messages evaporate fairly quickly. When you start adding people to the conversation, those numbers change slightly, but ultimately they're designed to evaporate.
And if you're looking at a particular time frame and user activity, are there other databases within the extraction that you can look at user activity so that you can see if they were accessing the app? You might not be able to see what is happening within that app, but you could tell if they accessed it.
Yes, absolutely. There's a number of different databases. Well, ultimately, iPhones are running off of a series of databases. That's it. If you really boil it down, that's every application is its own database. if you look at an iPhone and their extractions, there are certain databases that Apple has created to monitor the use of the devices that are out there in the world. Apple does this for selfish reasons. They like to learn what we're doing as users, but they also are using that information to make better software, to make better hardware, and things of that nature. So a lot of those databases have a lot of good information that we will use in investigations. The other good thing is that none of those databases can be altered by the user. Some can be altered by the user, but not these databases that I'm referring to.
And the next image, which is page 14, can you describe what, I'm sorry, 15, can you describe what is shown here?
Yes, so this is referring to a series of photographs that was taken with Jade's device over about a 1 minute period, and it's of the table that she set with the crafts and things that she was also planning on utilizing for the evening. So it's just kind of a pre-event photograph, I guess is a good way to explain it.
And does this photograph include what appears to be some type of Alfredo
Yes.
as well as rolls?
Yes.
And can you just give the first image what the created date and time is, as well as the last one in that set?
Yes, the created date and time on the very first photograph was on February 25th, 23 at 6:47:26. And the last one is same date at 6:48:07.
And the first image is labeled file name img_3406.jpg. Is that correct?
Yes.
And this next image, which is page 16, can you describe what's shown here?
Just a higher resolution version of the one we just looked at.
And this next image, which is page 17, can you describe what is shown here?
So, as I was referring to earlier, depending on the application that takes a photograph, a ton of information can be stored within that information. We have a created date, we have the size of the actual image itself, original width and height, so if it's ever modified or cropped out, we can see if it is smaller. In fact, we can see that it was larger and there might be something more that we need to look for. This one has location information as well, which indicates that the photograph was taken at Jade's apartment, along with the make and model of the device that it was taken. Just lots and lots of information that's stored just for that one photograph.
And this next image, which is page 18, can you describe what's shown here?
Again, ultimately a wider angle view of what we just looked at. So kind of taking a picture of the entire countertop there, or island that has, again, all the arts and craft and the dinner that Jade has prepared for the evening.
And is this the image that ends in 3407?
Correct, yes.
And the next image, which is page 19, can you describe what's shown here?
Moments later, another photograph labeled IMG_3408 is, again, just from a slightly different angle, but ultimately a very, very similar photograph to the last.
And the next image, which is page 20.
Again, moments later, this one ending in 3409 from the opposite end of the countertop, but ultimately the same photograph.
And the next image, which is page 21.
Ending in 3410.jpg, basically the same picture again, just a whole series of them.
And this next image, which is page 22.
So this is one of those photographs being shared with an individual saved in her contact list as B. This was sent at 6:48:26 p.m.
And can you explain what the, I guess, kind of object is under the message column for that communication with B?
Oh, under the additional detail, yes. So the software is only as good as it understands what Apple operating system is how it's reading it. So as any software exists in the world, there's constantly updates, things are altered slightly, databases are altered slightly. At this time, so that being said, there's constant cat and mouse games of our software and our hardware being able to catch up and do and understand everything that an iPhone is currently running at that time. So it's always a cat and mouse game. At this point in time, our software was not able to provide an exact sample image or a preview of that image that was sent in the message. So it shows that an object was sent with just a very basic icon saying an object was sent in this message. Looking at the artifact information for the message itself, again, it says an object just there to the right of the word message. But if we go down a little bit lower and look at the attachment path, and if we follow that all the way to the very end, you'll see that there's a title of the image that was actually sent. If you search for that title, then you can reference back to what was actually sent, which is how we identify the photograph that was sent in that message.
And the next image, which is page 23.
Between 651 and 655, a few text messages are shared between Blaise and Jade. Mr. Taylor,
Sorry, can you describe the content of the messages?
yes, on 2/25/23 at 6:51, a message was sent to Jade from Blaise that states "on my way," and roughly 4 minutes later, Jade loved that image or hearted that image, or that message.
And what else is included on this page 23?
At 6:55 p.m., Jarius Porter received a message from Jade.
And is it received or sent?
So,
Oh, she sent
yeah. I'm sorry, I said that
Sorry.
in a confusing way, but she submitted a text to him. She sent it to him.
And the next page, which is 24.
So this is a phone call that was an incoming call to Jade's phone from Mr. Taylor's device.
And can you give the date and time?
It was at February 25th, 23 at 6:59:49 p.m.
And what was the call duration?
It was 10 seconds.
Carter, I'm at somewhat of a stopping point if it is
Okay.
time for the board.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you going a little further. I think the court staff told you about an event that the court needs to go to just briefly down the hallway. That will be also during the time you break for lunch. So remember what I said about not discussing the case, wanting any opinion about it or other admonitions. We'll get back here, just say around 2:20, 25, something like that. You'll step down the hallway. Okay, just give y'all additional time too, with break till 2:30. That work?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, anything before the jury's vote? All right, let them start.
Miller, we left off with page 24 of the exhibit. This is now page 25. Can you describe what is shown?
It's referencing a Snapchat that Jade received on her device from an individual named Lauren.
And that Lauren has letters after it, but there's nothing about that that's connected to Lauren Weber as far as you know, correct?
As far as I'm aware, correct.
And the next page of your report, which is page 26, can you describe what is shown here?
Two text messages are identified. One from Najaya to Jade's phone at 7:02 on 2/25/23, stating he said he wants some pasta, and then laughing. And then at 7:07, Jade receives a text from Jarius Porter on the same date.
I'm sorry.
Oh, just stating on the same date as well.
And the next page. Can you describe what's shown here?
At 7:13, Jade answers a call from Najaya that lasts approximately 1 minute on 2/25 at 7:13 p.m. And then it also depicts a text message that was received from Najaya saying Blaise is probably going to like this. Blaise is probably like this expletive on 2/25 at 7:56 p.m.
And is the expletive followed by a couple of laughing emojis?
Yes.
And that was page 27. Can you describe what's on the next page?
Jade receives a Snapchat message from an individual named Braylon at 7:23:01 p.m.
And there's an image with that. Is that, I guess, can you kind of describe, that's just a message, correct?
Correct. The picture in and of itself is the message.
And that was page 28. This is page 29. Can you describe what's shown here?
A series of texts that were sent within a minute of each other, starting with one from Jade to Najaya saying, LOL, I'm about to make the plate at 7:24:32. Najaya responds, okay, we're close at 7:24:48. And then Najaya sending again, I just had to have it, followed by two emojis at 7:24:55.
And this next page, which is page 30, is that, can you describe what that is?
It's just a different way to display the exact same information, just a little bit more digestible is all.
And the next page, which is 31, can you describe what's shown here?
Depicts a phone call that was incoming to Jay's device from Najaya that was answered, and it lasted about 9 seconds at 7:33:58 p.m. on the 25th.
And the next page, which is 32, can you describe what's shown here?
Between the hours of 8:03 and 8:29 p.m., texts are traded between Najaya and Jade shortly after Najaya leaves the residence.
And so there was no communication directly between Jade and Najaya from that 7:30, what our last page was, 7:33 until that 8:03. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then the next page, which is 33, can you describe what's shown here?
This is the series of texts again, just in a different format.
And can you describe, there's kind of a gray box and a blue box. Who is the person whose messages are in blue?
So, like I was referring to earlier, the messages that are extending from the left side of the screen, those are going to be the individual that Jade was communicating with. Those in blue that are extending from the right side of the screen, those are going to be Jade's statements or Jade's texts.
And for the record, can you read out the content of the text from Najaya on 2/25/23 and 8:03:06 p.m.?
Yes. It says, "That was a cute interaction we all had. I hope you all had a great date night. Love you," with a handful of heart emojis afterwards.
And the next page is page 34. Can you describe what's shown here?
Another series of texts shortly after the previous slide that we were just looking at, a continuation of the conversation.
And specifically, can you read out the content of the message on 2/25/23 at 8:12:22 p.m.?
Yes. It states, "Oh, that was sweet of him," with 2 emojis following it. "I didn't want to intrude. We can definitely plan something soon, and he can teach us how to play spades."
And the next page, which is 35, can you describe the content of this page?
Yeah, so this is one of those databases I was referring to earlier that Apple collects from all iPhones that they use to improve our user experience, to improve software, so on and so forth. This one specifically is from a database that they refer to as Knowledge C, and this portion of the database focuses on the locked states of the device. So when it was unlocked or when it was locked. So it has a period of time of when it started a locked state, when it stopped that locked state, and then there's a recorded line, another column that says recorded. That varies from time to time. That's just when it was entered into the database. The start and the stop is what you need to focus on, is what we focus on, I should say.
And can you read into the record the start and end date and time for the unlocked entry that is highlighted on page 35?
Yes, the unlocked state started at 2:25 on 2/25/23 at 8:29:36, and it ended on 2/25/23 at 8:29:52 p.m.
And the next page, which is page 36, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, this is a photograph that was taken at 8:29 p.m. This one held on to some XF data that actually has the location where the photograph was taken. Again, it was Jade's apartment. And this is of that same area that she had planned, or that had laid out dinner and some of these arts and crafts. And this is kind of a mid, in the middle of their crafting or painting that they were doing.
And is there anything specific about the type of picture file?
Yes, so this is a live image. Apple, along with other devices, they have live images now to where you have an option of kind of sliding through the image to focus on a singular frame in that video. A very short video that you can slide through, so if somebody was blinking or not smiling in a photograph, you can kind of pause on a different frame. That being said, there will be, with this one specifically, there will be an image and a very short 2 to 3 second video that's also titled the same as the photograph itself. They're just combined into one package. So when you take that picture, you're really just taking a short video, and it chooses a portion of that as its photograph.
And this picture is file name IMG_3411. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And this next page, which is 37, can you describe what that is?
That is the video in relation to that photograph we just saw.
And that kind of moving file is downloaded to the disk that goes with this report.
Yes, that's one of the 3 that was downloaded to that disk, yes.
And so that will be 3411. And the next page, which is IMG_3412.
Yes, so this is an actual video that was taken, a video that was taken shortly after that photograph was just taken, again, of their project, or of the progress of their project that they were completing.
Which I'm going to go back just a couple of screens. So you read out the unlock time is 8:29:36, and then the lock time is 8:29:52. This photo was taken at 8:29, but can you put into the record the seconds?
Yeah, it's 8:29:50 p.m.
And that's for 3411, and that coincides within that unlock time. Is that correct?
Correct. It's within that window.
page 38. We are now on page 39. Can you describe what is shown here?
This is, again, from that Knowledge C database. So again, this is some information that Apple, that they store on the device. This is a portion that is focusing on the Pinterest application. You can see over on the far left, the activity type column. You can see com.pinterest.viewSearch. All of these artifacts or these line items are processes that are occurring within the application of the Pinterest application. The one that's highlighted shows that it's accessing a URL very specific to a search. And if you follow the website, the URL, which looks like a traditional website, as we can all agree on, the www.pinterest, and continue on, after the search, you'll see a question mark and a Q and then an equal sign. The word motivational and then the words are actually her search terms that she searched within Pinterest. So she searched for the term motivational words and then received the results from that search and was able to scroll through them.
And the next page, which is 40, can you describe what is shown here?
This is just further detail of, ultimately I was explaining what was, this is again just another reference of that exact line item that we were just talking about.
And the next screen, which is page 41, can you describe what's shown here?
It's another snapshot of the lock and unlock or device states, and it shows that it was her device was unlocked on 2/25/23 from 9 o'clock and 3 seconds to 2/25/23 9:01 and 30 seconds p.m.
And the next page, which is 42.
This again is just showing a snapshot of the fact that she was utilizing the Pinterest application for this period of time. So the event date, if you go down that column, from about 9 o'clock to 9:07, she was searching and or scrolling on that application.
And does it show the next activity after 9:07:30 is 9:16:26?
Yes.
And this next image, which is page 43, can you describe what's shown here?
This is a video that we were referring to a little bit ago. It was taken not long after the photograph, again showing the progress of their painting.
And so that Pinterest activity is happening after this photo is taken, is that correct? Kind of before?
Before, during, and after.
During
Yes.
and after.
Yes.
And this next page, which is 44, can you describe what this is?
Again, this is so what we were just looking at was a still shot of this video. So as it plays through, it's just her painting across the countertop, showing the progress of her painting and the progress of Blaise's painting.
And so that video, the IMG_3412, that would also be on the disc.
That is correct, yes.
And the next page, which is 45, can you describe what's shown here?
Again, just referencing the usage of the Pinterest application during that time frame.
And that kind of part that's highlighted is 9:07:30 p.m. to 9:32:08 p.m. Is that correct?
To 9:19:58 is the recorded time is not necessarily going to be the event time. That was just when it was recorded in the database.
And that's what I was getting to. I guess I was looking at the recorded time, but that last line, can you describe it? Doesn't actually go to 9:32:08. Is that correct?
That is correct. That's just when that line item was recorded in that database.
And so that activity is at 9:19:58.
Correct.
And that is page 46. We are now at page 47. Can you describe what's shown here?
We are looking at a still image of what Apple refers to as a snapshot. So ultimately, when we are closing down applications and we swipe up and we see kind of still states of all the applications that we had open, those freeze frames or those still shots of our applications, those are what Apple refers to as snapshots. Those are saved as a very specific file type within the extraction of the device. It doesn't look like it's not saved as a typical picture. It's not saved as a movie or anything like that. It's a very unique file type. So we know that that's what this photograph came from. But this is also most likely the last thing she was looking at on Pinterest when she was conducting her painting.
And the next page, which is 48, can you describe what is shown here?
Yes, so if you notice on the file name at the very end of it, it's .ktx. It's a very unique file type. I don't know of any other photographs that utilize that file type, but it shows a created date at 9/19:59 p.m. and on the date of 2/25/2023.
And if you were to swipe away kind of that open page on your phone, what would happen to that KTX file?
If I was to, I'm sorry, say that
If
again.
you were to close out that open app on your phone,
Okay.
what happens to the KTX file?
It still is stored for a period of time on the device.
Is it at some point deleted?
Yes, it's in a temporary folder, so it's one of those things that we all know that we open and close applications at varying rates. So it's not something that the phone wants to hold on to indefinitely because it's not really going to benefit anybody or the device or anything. So it's one of those that's an evolving database, a constant kind of a rollover.
And the next page, which is 49, can you describe what was shown here?
We have highlighted a window of a locked state and an unlocked state. The locked state, well, I start with the unlocked state because we're going in a descending. So on 2/25 at 9/19:49, it was unlocked until 9/20:59 p.m. And then it was locked at 9/20:59 p.m. until 9/29:06 p.m.
And you just said it was locked from 9:20:59 p.m. until 9:29:06 p.m.
That's correct.
And the next page is 50. Can you describe what is shown here?
It's a snapshot of a series of photographs that were taken with Jade's device between the times of 9:24 and 9:28 p.m.
Which you have just testified that her phone was in a locked state. Can you describe how is it possible that she is taking photographs?
Yes. So from a locked state, Apple devices and other mobile devices have realized that people utilize their phone as a camera just as much as they do a phone. So they make it a little bit easier for you to swipe either to the left or hold down on a little camera icon in the bottom right-hand corner. You can do this without ever entering your PIN, using your fingerprint or your Face ID to access that application.
And are there 12 photographs that are taken in a series?
Yes.
And is the first one listed at the bottom of this page 50?
The first one, yes.
Before one,
Yeah,
three.
I'm sorry, yes.
And this next page 51, can you describe what's shown here? Is that just more detail about
Yeah,
these exact same
yes.
12 photos?
Yes,
A
it's-
little bit bigger so you can see the
Just
exact time.
zoomed in a little bit more, yes.
And the next page, which is 52, can you describe what's shown here?
I placed a copy of the photograph and then a copy of the detailed information just to the right of it, so it kind of flow a little bit easier. So as we're looking through these slides, the photograph on the left, and then the immediate right of it is the detailed information for that photograph. So the first one being 34313.jpg was taken at 9:24:33 p.m. and it also again has the location information stored inside that photograph or in the details of that photograph that it was taken at her apartment. The following picture was, again, these will be kind of in a consecutive order as well because they were taken fairly shortly after the first one. Next one being 3414.jpg at 9:24:41 p.m.
And the next page, which is 54, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, same.
I apologize, that's 53.
Page 53? Oh, yeah. Very first photograph at the top, ending in 3415.jpg, was taken at 9:25:17 p.m. Then 3416 was taken at 9:25:32 p.m. and then 3417 was taken at 9:25:51 p.m.
And the next page, which is 54, can you describe what's shown here?
Same, where we're looking at the extension of that same series. So ending in 3418.jpg was taken at 9:27:02 p.m. 3419.jpg was taken at 9:27:38 p.m. and then 3420.jpg was taken at 9:27:45 p.m.
And the next page, which is 55, can you describe what's shown here?
3421.jpg was taken at 9:27:54. 3421.jpg was taken at 9:27:59, and then 3423.jpg was taken at 9:28:20 on the 25th.
And the next page, which is 56, does that just reiterate all of the dates and times of those photographs?
Yes.
And this next page is 57. Can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, this is image 3424.jpg taken at 9:28:45 p.m., but then was also subsequently marked for deletion at 9:29:12 p.m.
And when you say mark for deletion, what user input is required for that?
Oh, you'd have to have the phone unlocked at that point. You would definitely have to have full access to the device in order to mark anything for deletion.
How hard is it to mark something for deletion?
It's fairly easy.
And the next page, which is 58, can you describe what's shown here?
At 9:29 p.m., Jade calls Nigea's phone. Nigea answers. The call lasts for 6 minutes and 9 seconds at 9:29:27 p.m.
And the next page, which is 59, can you describe, is this just added kind of the time of that call?
Oh, yes.
And can you give the duration for that call?
The duration for the call that's listed above,
Mm-hmm.
it was 6 minutes and 9 seconds.
And this next page, which is 60, can you describe what's shown here?
This is a snapshot of the call detail records that were for Blaise Taylor's device, and it indicates a 911 call on the date of the incident.
And so lines 428 and 429, that's a duplicate entry. Is that something that is fairly common with 911 within carrier records?
Yes.
And the time being 033858, it's listed as a GMT time, is that correct?
Yes.
And can you describe what's the correlation to that in local time if the call was made at 9:38:58 p.m. Central Time?
Yes. So ultimately, electronic devices are stored and are created with the concept of UTC or GMT time. Because we can't have a Tennessee specific phone or a Italy specific phone, we have to have kind of a zero starting point that all devices can adjust to, or at least adjust from, to get to your local time zone. So ultimately, that's kind of the zero starting point for the time. And if you apply our time zone during that time, which was standard time, not daylight savings time, because we were in February, it's going to be minus 6 hours. So just Central Standard Time at that time. So if you subtract that 6 hours, it takes us right back to 9:38:58 when the 911 call was made.
And this next page, which is 61, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, we have a line item highlighted for an unlocked state starting at 9:29:06 and ending at 9:35:49 p.m. on the 25th of February.
And the next page, which is 62, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, so moments after the 911, I'm sorry, not the 911 call, but moments after the phone call to Nigea's phone from Jade's device, Nigea texts Jade 2 messages. First one at 9:30:17, what's going on? And then at 9:30:22 p.m., are you talking to me?
Which I'm going to go back 3 pages pages. And so that phone call began at 9:29 and 27 seconds, lasted for 6 minutes and 9 seconds, so it would have ended at 9:35:36.
That's correct.
And then going down to page 62, these two text messages are sent during that phone call. Is that correct?
Correct, not even a minute after it started.
And did you read the content of the message into the record?
I did.
Thank you. And the next page, which is 63, can you describe what's shown here?
It's a continuation of the text string that Jade and Najee shared earlier, and then another depiction of the messages that I just read.
And the next page, which is 64, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, so this is just what I explained before was the unlocked state. It ended at 9:35:49 p.m. It went into a locked state at that point until the following day at 6:44 a.m.
And obviously, you have some of your commentary at the top of this slide.
Yes.
The data is what is underneath the slide. Can you explain, like, what happens when your phone is in a locked state? What actions are still available?
So your phone can still receive text messages. It can receive phone calls. You will get notifications and alerts. If you had alarms set, those would still go off. If somebody else had control of the device, they could answer incoming calls. They could maybe even see incoming text messages, but they obviously would have to have the pen to open them up.
And the next page, which is 65, can you describe what the lock state date, start date and end date that's highlighted?
Yes, as I just referred to, the lock state started at 9:35:49 p.m. and remained locked until 6:44 a.m. the following morning.
And the next page is 66. Can you describe what's shown here?
At 9:47:11, Isaiah calls Jade's device, and it was answered, and it lasted about 2 minutes and 12 seconds.
And that was when the phone was in the locked state, correct?
That's correct. It was in a locked state at that time.
Detective Miller, we kind of went through the timeline of that 2/25 of 2023. Can you describe when you're analyzing a phone, are you the lead detective on the case and doing everything yourself?
Not at all.
And did you work with the lead detective assigned to this case?
I did.
And I guess, can you kind of describe how does that work with you locating information and y'all working together?
Yes, so there's a constant line of communication ultimately. Starting out when we receive paperwork, we're going to have some initial information about when the incident occurred, what kind of incident it was, because we don't just work on homicide phones, we work on sex abuse phones, we work on robbery phones, like all different types of devices. So every investigation is going to be a little bit different. So, but we're constantly in communication with that lead detective. They had boots on the ground during the initial portion of the investigation. They know it inside and out, and I'm kind of a third party coming in, again, assisting in the investigation with the digital evidence. So I have to rely on those lead detectives anytime I'm working on a phone or on a report for a device, because I need to know a lot more information. So there's constant lines of communication.
And did he ask you to look for certain pieces of information during certain time frames?
Yes,
And was November 6th one of those time frames?
that was.
And the next page, which is 68, can you describe what was shown here?
So this is a snapshot of the notes application, or a portion of the notes application that was in Jade's device.
And can you describe when the note was created?
It was created on 11/6 of 22 and at 4:11:27 p.m. And a note is one of those that you can constantly keep modifying, adding to, taking away from. So it has a last modified date as of the 8th of that same month.
And can you read the body of that note?
Yes. I think that we might as well cut out the communication or whatever between us, because we can't keep opening and closing this door when I've made the decision. You said how you felt and what you do or don't want, and I respect it and will not involve you at any point. My appointment is the 16th, so if your mind changes or anything, feel free to reach out at any time. But other than that, I feel like we will just be running in circles, continuing to communicate.
And can you explain, there's a summary section, do you know how that's created?
It's created by the application and is actually just in the line item of all your notes. It'll actually give you just like a little snapshot of what's in that note.
And the next page, which is 69, can you describe what's shown here?
A series of texts between Nigea and Jade on 11/6/22, starting at 12:49:50 p.m.
And can you read out the time and the content of the text messages on this page?
Yes. At 12:49:50 p.m., Jade states, Blaise talking about the current situation in quotations. And then she follows up, again, Jade to Nigea at 12:50:06 p.m. I'm going to tell him today I'm not having the abortion so he can just get it out of his head. Nigea responds at 12:51:11 p.m. like he had the opportunity to talk yesterday and didn't. Nigea then follows up with, at 12:51:18 p.m., she laughed at Jade's, she responded to Jade's text by laughing at it or doing a ha-ha quotation above the text. And then she follows up with LMAO, get it out of his head because it's a wrap, at 12:51:30 p.m. Jade then responds at 12:51:38 p.m., literally, and was being awkward, trying to have other conversations to avoid. At 12:51:46, Jade responded to the message from Nigea, emphasizing her message about it's a wrap. Then Nigea texts Jade at 12:51:53 p.m. because it's happening. Nigea follows up with, do you think my story should have a song or no? Referring to a post or something along those lines, I'm guessing, at 12:52:08 p.m. And then Jade responding, he's gonna be like, but why? It just makes no sense for us. Like, expletive, shut it down. At 12:52:12 p.m. And then she finishes with, yeah, give it a little song at 12:52:43 p.m.
And the next page, which is 70,
Same.
so it's more messages between them.
Correct. Do you want me to follow up with reading them all?
Yes.
Okay. At 12:52:49 p.m., Nigea says he most def is going to be on that. Jade responds at 1:10:44 p.m. It's all good though. It is what it is. Jade then follows up with, I told my dad yesterday. That was at 1:10:48 p.m. Nigea says, oh, expletive, how'd that go? At 1:11:05. Nigea then sends a photograph with no context, and then Jade responds, it went really good, he cried. I've never seen him cry other than my grandma's sister's funeral at 1:12:14 p.m. Nigea responded, cried, question marks, and then a series of emojis at 1:12:24. And then Nigea then followed up with, stop it, Dennis, at 1:12:29 p.m. And then Jade finishes this page with, but he told me basically the same as my mom, that he would support me either way at 1:12:43 p.m.
And the next page, which is 71, can you describe what's shown here?
At 1:45:12 p.m., Jade texts Nigea, "I'm about to talk to this expletive." Nigea responds like, "WTF?" At 1:45:32 p.m., Nigea then says, "Let me know how it goes." At 1:45:36 p.m., again, Nigea sends a photograph without any context. And then at the bottom, Jade finishes up with, "I think that we might as well cut the ties, communication, or whatever between us."
Is that a draft of basically that note that you've already testified to?
Yes,
And that's Jade sending that to Nigea, is that correct?
correct.
And there's a photograph in the message that Nigea sends Jade at 2:29. This next page, which is 72, can you describe what this is?
That's a photograph that she submitted in that message.
And the next page, which is 73, can you describe what's shown here?
These are responses that Nigea sent Jade of edited versions, I guess is the best way to describe it, as she read the message that Jade was considering sending to Blaise. She shared it with Nigea, and Nigea gave her thoughts on it.
And that last message on this page is at 5:11:59 p.m. Can you describe what that is?
Jade sent Nigea a picture with no context.
And the next page, which is 74, can you describe what that is?
It appears to be a Kroger website image of organic basil.
And is that the image that was in that previous message?
Yes.
And the next page, which is 75, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, this is a message that Jade sent to Blaise Taylor's device with the final draft, if you will, of the message she had started in notes and then shared with Nigea and edited a few times. This was the final draft that she texted to Blaise at 4:37 p.m. on 11/6/2022.
And can you read that to the record, please?
Yes. After multiple conversations, I think it may be best that we go ahead and cut the ties of communication between us. We can't keep opening and closing this door when I've made the decision I have. We will continue to run in circles of communication about the situation when we know we are not in agreement with the situation. You said how you felt and stated that moving forward you want no parts, so I will let it be just that. I will not involve you at any point. I will love this child unconditionally with or without you. I informed you that my appointment is on the 16th, so if your mind changes between now and then, the choice is yours to show up or not. So with that being said, there's nothing left for me to say. Have a great rest of your day, Blaise.
And the next page, which is 76, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, it's another view of her sending that exact same text on the 6th of November.
And is that the thread between Jade Benning and Blaise Taylor?
That is the thread, yes.
And what is the next message that occurs after the November 6th, 2022?
Almost 2 months later, on 12/31/22 at 4:26:02 p.m., Jade texts Blaise's device stating, "I'll be off in about 30 or 45 minutes. I will call you when I leave."
And can you describe in Jade's iPhone, does it capture every single phone call that she makes?
Not all of her phone calls. Well, it does capture all of them. Yes, inherently phones do capture all phone calls, but not. Well, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, it does capture phone calls.
Is it possible that that phone call occurred through a third-party app?
It is possible.
Because it appears she's responding to something, but nothing happened.
That is correct.
Did you look for evidence of what would have occurred between Jade Benning and Blaise Taylor prior to her sending this message.
Yes,
And did you find anything related to that?
I did.
And what was that?
I found a message or a text string between Jade and Nigea. Jade had texted Nigea a photograph of a missed call from Blaise. She had taken a screen capture of her locked phone that she had missed a call from Blaise. So it shows that on her screen, and she texts that to Nigea. Nigea responded as though you would think she would. She was surprised because it had been a serious period of time since they talked, and then Jade seemed excited about the fact that he was calling.
And can you describe what's shown here? That is 77.
Yeah, it's just further detail of the slide we were just looking at, the text.
And this is 78, which is kind of just talking about that time frame of November 4th, 2022 to February 25th, 2023. Did you specifically kind of look at any contact that they would have had during that time frame?
Yes.
And specifically, did you look at Jade's activity during that specific time frame?
Yes.
And do the next few slides kind of focus in on things related to her and her actual pregnancy?
Yes, it does.
And this next page, which is 79, can you describe what is shown here?
Yes, these are a series of calendar entries that were on her device, and then just below that, a series of text confirmation that you would typically receive from like a doctor's office or something along those lines, confirming the dates and times of those appointments that were listed above, of some of the appointments that were listed above, I should say.
And the next page is 80, which is kind of a zoomed in image of a portion of the previous slide. Can you
Correct.
read into the record the dates of these appointments?
Yes, the titled doctor appointment at Vanderbilt Women's start date and time was 11/16/22 at 1:40 p.m. The following is a second OB appointment at 12/28/22 at 3:40 p.m. A third OB appointment or an anatomy scan at 2/2/23 at 9:45 a.m. I had to look this up, a non-invasive prenatal test for the blood work on 2/6/23 at 9 a.m. The following is a third OB with an Allison Mullally on 2/10/23 at 11:40 a.m. An ultrasound on 3/9/23 at 9:05 a.m. A glucose test on 3/9/23 at 11 a.m. And then a Little Sprouts spring and summer pop-up sale on 3/21/23 at 4:30 p.m.
And that first appointment was on November 16th of 2022, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And this next page is 81. Can you describe what's shown here?
It's a detailed portion of a video that we're about to show that was taken at 2:13:34 p.m. on 11/16/22.
And can you describe what is shown here on 82?
It's a video that appears to be inside of a doctor's office, videotaping an ultrasound being displayed on a screen in a dark office.
And is that one of the video files that will be on the disk?
It is.
And the next page, which is 83, can you describe what's shown here?
It's the details for another video that we're about to display that was taken shortly after at 2:59:50 p.m.
And that is on November 16th of 2022, is that correct?
Yes.
And that is a still image on page 84 of your report. Can you describe what that video is?
Yes, it is showing Jade walking out of the appointment, seemingly pretty excited to the point of having to remove her mask to show her smile.
And is that video on the disc as well?
Yes.
And the next page, 85, is a duplicate of the previous page. Can you describe These are all of the appointments that she has, correct?
As they relate to the pregnancy, it's not every appointment that she had in her calendar.
Okay. And that Little Sprouts event, was there additional information on her phone about that?
I don't recall if there
Is
was.
it possible there were messages that related specifically to that?
Yes, there were. I'm sorry. Yes.
And that was scheduled to occur on March 21st, is
Yeah.
that right?
Yes.
And this next page is 86. Can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, Jade had created 2 boards on her Pinterest account, one titled Baby Nursery Inspiration and the other titled Baby Shower Ideas. First one was created or started on 12/16/22 at 10:39 p.m. and the other was created or started on 1/16/23 at 8:48 p.m.
And this next image kind of takes us a little bit out of sequence, but can you describe what is shown here on page 87?
Yes, it's a series of texts between Jade and Blaise on 9/28/22, starting at 9:45:35 a.m.
And this next page, 88, can you describe what's shown here?
It's a detail. It's the details for the very first text, just kind of giving a little bit more in-depth look at the starting of the conversation.
And this next page, which is 89, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, it's a continuation of the same conversation, the same day, just a little bit later on at 6:52:01 p.m. Between again Jade and Blaise.
And can you read into the record the content of that message at 6:52:01?
Yes, that very first message from Jade to Blaise. I want to come stay with you again tonight. Blaise responds at 10:59:38 p.m. Yes, that's fine. So sorry, I definitely thought I had responded, just was getting ready for bed and was like, dang, she hasn't responded back. And it was me who didn't respond with an emoji. Jade then responds at 11:04:46. LOL, it's all good. I'm finishing up at the gym. I'll come there in a minute at 11:04:46. And then follows up about 6 minutes later with on my way. Blaise responds at 11:11:16 that his door is unlocked. And about a minute later, Jade responds loving his last text.
And were you specifically asked to look to see if they had contact kind of right there at the end of September?
Yes, I was.
And the next page, which is 90, can you describe what's shown here?
This is just a little bit more detail about the very last text that was sent in that string, just giving a little bit more information on it from the beginning to the end of the conversation.
And the next page, which is 91, can you describe what's shown here?
There were 4 notes located in her phone that were of a pregnancy mindset. 4 notes were started, one titled Baby Names, one titled Baby List Needs, one titled Ultrasound Appointment, and another titled Baby Shower.
And the next page, which is 92, can you describe what's shown here?
This is a series of line items from her inbox or her email. These are all email lists that she had signed up for that are all either parenting related, baby related, pregnancy related, of that nature. So she had 5 of them that she had actually subscribed to.
And the next page, which is 93, can you describe what's shown here?
It's a series of videos that I located inside of her device that were videos of an Amazon checkout, or like an in cart before you check out, so in your basket for Amazon. 2 of those for Amazon, another one for Old Navy, and another for another child-related website, all indicating items that she had in her cart ready for purchase.
And are all 4 of those videos between 2/20/2023 and 2/22/2023?
That's correct, yes. The detail portion down there at the very bottom is in correlation with the still image directly above it. Again, these are all videos, so these are just a still shot of the video.
And this is four separate things that you
Yeah.
kind of consolidated?
Correct.
Did you
Correct.
pull every single pregnancy-related item from Ms. Benning's phone?
No, not at all. This is just a sampling of what I located.
Was it somewhat just constant?
Yes.
From the beginning of November until February 25th of 2023?
Yeah, it was very, very constant.
And the next page is 94. Can you describe what's shown here?
An image that made me think she was treating herself right and working with the pregnancy by creating mocktails and posting that to some friends on Snapchat.
And did you specifically look for any evidence of alcohol use, marijuana use, things of that nature?
Correct, yes.
And did you find this kind of looking for that type of thing?
Amongst other things, yes.
And this next image, which is 95, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, it's a photograph of Jade at a local gym, or her gym, and she, I found it important to say that she noted that we made it to the gym today. So my inference is her referring to her and her unborn.
And what type of artifact is this?
This is a Snapchat artifact.
And what's the date for the record?
It was created on 1/11/23 at 1:03 p.m.
And the next page, which is 96, can you describe what's shown here?
It's a photograph that was taken on February 2nd, 2023 at 9:24 a.m. And again, it appears that she is in a doctor's office with a ultrasound image up on a screen in the room.
And can you describe what is an HEIC file?
It's a high efficiency image container, and it's just a really fancy term for that Apple uses for their images. It's just a very high quality image. So it's very normal to see that inside of an Apple extraction.
And the next image, which is page 97, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, this is another photograph. This one was just a few minutes after the one we previously looked at. This one's titled 3131.jpg, and it's a photograph inside of a doctor's office. Now, looking more like it might be Jade that's getting her ultrasound, because you can almost picture her laying down on her back, taking the picture from her side.
And the date and time of this image?
It's at 2/23 at 10:11:01 a.m.
And the next page, which is 98, can you describe what's shown here?
This is a snap video that was taken on 2/2/23 at 9:55 a.m.
And the next image, which is 98 and 99, can you describe what's shown here?
Similar to the last. So again, another snap video that was taken just moments later.
Did you include every single image that has been taken from that February 2nd, 2023 appointment?
No.
Was it voluminous?
Lots of pictures, lots of them.
And was she taking them on different platforms, her phone, and then also within Snapchat?
That's correct.
And this next image, which is page 100,
This is image titled 3163.jpg. It was taken on 2/2/23 at 10:12:28 a.m. And again, it's a picture of her holding up her recently received sonogram printout.
and the next page is 101. Can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, this is a series of text messages that Jade submitted to Blaise Taylor. First one on January 26, 23 at 11:29:08 a.m. She texted a photograph and then followed up with just reminding you that my appointment is next Thursday at 9:45. It shouldn't be longer than an hour. The photograph that she shared is pictured just below the portion that says OB, a third OB anatomy scan. On She followed up with another text not long after that on January 26, 23 at 12:44 p.m. Okay, hopefully you can make it. I'd love for you to be there when I find out the gender. You coming to importance is very important, and that got cut off. Not so much the body of the text as the fact that she was texting him about the appointments is what I was trying to portray in these messages. On 2/5/23 at 11:48 p.m., she texts Blaise, "Sweet dreams, though, about to try and go to sleep since I have to be up early for the appointment," followed up with an emoji. And then on 2/10/23 at 12:51:16 p.m., an emoji, and then a doctor's appointment went well, or went good. She said everything was normal, just waiting for the test to come back, which will be next week probably.
And that one, I think you read out the message read time. Was the message sent at 12:46:56?
I'm sorry, yes. I apologize. Read from the wrong column.
And the next image, which is page 102 of the report, can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, it's a photograph from a series of photos that Jade took in her kitchen on February 6, 2023 at 4:39 p.m.
And were you asked to look for specific information related to the camera that is portrayed in this photograph?
Yes, when you're looking at the details for images, I mean that is one of the things that, depending on the application that you use, is identified in the details of that photograph. If you look down a little bit lower on the right side, a little bit lower than halfway, you can see that it was taken with an Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max, utilizing software version 16.1.1, which was the same as Jade's device.
Which I apologize, Detective Miller. I think my question was confusing. I was referring to the surveillance camera that was on the left side of the stove.
There's that too.
Were
I'm
you
sorry.
also asked to look for any information related to that camera?
Yes.
And the next image, which is 103 of your report, can you describe what's shown here?
Another photograph taken in that same series.
And the next image, which is 104, can you describe what's shown here?
Another photograph taken not long after, titled 3236.jpg in the same series.
And did you include all of the photographs that Ms. Benning took of her and her sonogram pictures on that February 6, 2023 date?
No, there was quite a few of them.
And the next image, which is 105 of your report, can you describe what's shown here?
Yeah, it's a series of text messages between Jade and her mother.
And can you describe the one at 6:17:03? What, I guess, does that image indicate to you?
A series of photographs were sent in one singular message.
And does that time frame kind of match up to when she was taking those photographs in her kitchen?
It does.
And the next page is 106. Can you describe what's shown here?
Same. It's going to end up being a series of photographs sent in a handful of messages, all containing a series of photographs in each message.
And page 107, is that another image of the 9 images that she sent her mom that day?
Yes.
And the next page is 108. Can you describe what's shown here?
Jade texts her mother, took these today at 6:17:10 p.m. And her mother proceeded to start loving each individual picture.
And the next image is 109. Can you describe what's shown here?
Selfie taken on titled 3337.jpg on 2/15/23 at 1:33:20 p.m.
Detective Miller, did you capture every single pregnancy progress post that Ms. Benning took that would be similar to this one?
I did not. Again, this is just a sampling.
Was that something that she was doing on a regular basis during those months?
Yes.
And the next image is page 110. Can you describe what's
Yes, this is a screen capture that was taken of Jade's device when it was in a locked state. She had a tendency of doing that when she was going to be texting someone else a screenshot of somebody who just called or just texted or something along those lines. But I found this one interesting to note. This is her lock screen with her sonogram in the background, and a very staged photo that meant a whole lot to her for a number of different reasons. I felt that to be important to add.
And can you read the date and time of this message?
Yes, it was taken on 2/23/23 at 10:35 a.m.
And I misspoke. This is not a message. This is
Yes.
a capture.
Yes.
I'm gonna darken the screen out just to. Can we just take it down for a second?
Detective Miller, you said that you worked with Detective Reese. When you were asked to search for things, can you describe some of the things that you were searching for? We've seen a lot of kind of the pregnancy of Jade Benning. Were you specifically asked to search for any information about Miss Benning and her pregnancy?
Yes, so of course, this happened over a very extended period of time. This wasn't all in one day. This was over a period of weeks and months even, and over a number of different conversations. But there was many keywords that we entered into the software. There's an easy way to enter those in, and the software does a lot of the work for you and searches out and seeks out and lists all of the times that those terms are used within the device. We did that with multiple keywords based off of the nature of her passing. Once that was identified, harming yourself, harming other people trying to harm you, lots of different phrases, terms, and things of that nature.
And specifically, there was a text message in there that referenced abortion.
Correct.
Did you find any information that Miss Benning did not want her baby in those months of January, February?
I only saw indications that she wanted to keep the child and that she did not want to have an abortion. I saw that repeatedly. I saw nothing indicating that she wanted to have anything to do with abortion with this pregnancy.
And is it correct that you were specifically looking for anything that could possibly indicate that?
Yes.
And specifically, were you looking for references to cocaine?
Yes.
Did you find any references to cocaine?
I saw 0 references to cocaine in her device.
And no references whatsoever? When you're looking for references of her doing it, but did she have references to cocaine?
I did not see references at all in her device for anything related to cocaine or any slang term for cocaine that we could conjure up.
And did you look to see if there were other substances that she was using?
Yes.
And did you see activity of her using other substances prior to her learning that she was pregnant?
Yes.
Were there references to, and those substances, is that going to be marijuana?
Yes.
Can you explain what a cart is?
It is short for cartridge. It's what you would put into a vaporizing device, and it would be these specifically are thought to be THC based.
And were there a couple of references to mushrooms?
Yes, there were.
Was there any evidence in conversations that you reviewed that indicated that Ms. Benning used any drugs after she found out she was pregnant?
Nothing indicating that she used them, no.
Were there references of text messages where she asked someone for drugs for other people?
There's a number of those, yes.
And did you kind of follow those text threads to the other messages around them to look to see if it was for somebody else?
Yes, I did.
And was there evidence that it in fact was?
Yes, there were.
Did you search Ms. Benning's phone for information related to her relationship with Ms. Nigel Jackson?
Yes.
And were you specifically looking to see if there was any negativity between the two of them.
Yes.
Did you find anything like that?
I did not find one bit of it.
Did you find an enormous amount of communication between the two of them?
Yes, it was very clear that they talked on a very regular basis.
And is it fair to say that if you're looking for evidence of one thing, you kind of look at conversations with other people to see, it might not be in a text thread between Ms. Benning and Mr. Taylor, but she might be talking to Ms. Jackson about something that happened?
And oftentimes you'll find true feelings in another adjacent text, yeah.
And were you looking at all of those messages, especially focused in that time frame of February of 2023?
Yes, very much so.
But looking at it back to the date when she finds out she's pregnant, but specifically looking for everything that she's doing in that month of February.
Yes, very, very closely.
And did you find any evidence of any connection between Mr. Keontae Jones and Ms. Benning? Did they even communicate?
There was no evidence of communication between those two. He was referenced a few times in a few different text messages, but she never communicated with him directly that I could find on her device.
If I can have just 1 second. I want to switch gears a little bit, which if we can get the screen back, that would be great. Did you receive any other devices in this case?
A number of different devices, yes.
And I want to reference you, was that the only device that you received really from Ms. Benning where she was the owner?
Yes, for her, yes.
At some point, did you receive devices related to Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
And can you describe what devices did you receive?
It was a series of devices over a period of time as well. Initially, we received, I'd have to refer to notes in order to list some of these out.
Is there an objection to him referring to his notes?
You're just wanting to list the devices?
I wanted him to generally explain the devices that he.
Okay. We asked about listing. What is the list that you have there?
So it's just a snapshot of some of the devices that were turned in, that were owned by him or used by him, by Detective Reese.
Is there additional case material on the notes?
I think it's Gene's material. I don't know what notes he has. Nothing was given to me. I don't have them.
What is your question?
Just wanted to know what devices.
What is
you
your
received.
question?
What devices did you receive related to Blaise Taylor?
We received a Microsoft Surface that was owned by the Titans that was in his possession. We received a iPhone 15 Pro. We received a GPS tracker. We received 3 different iPads. We received 3 more laptops, another Microsoft Surface, and 2 thumb drives.
And the cell phones that you referenced, did you receive any of those close in time to February 25th of 2023?
No.
The Microsoft Surface, is that the one device that you received earlier on?
Yes, the one that was owned by the Titans, yes.
And can you describe what, if any, information was on that device?
It was only work-related information that we could look at.
And can you describe what, if anything, did you do with or receive related to an Apple iCloud?
Yes, so Detective Reese, when he received his response from Apple, he submitted a search warrant to them, and in return, after a period of time, it takes them a while to consolidate the information that was requested. They submit that to him within the time frame that he requested in the search warrant, so they follow all the rules of the search warrant. Apple is pretty strict on only giving you exactly what you want, and they really only give you exactly what you want. So we don't receive the search warrant that they submit to Apple. We receive the data that Apple provides to that detective. Again, we will plug that information into our software that processes it just like a cell phone. It ends up looking a lot like a cell phone when it's done processing, or at least the software makes it look a little bit like that. Primarily because most of the information that's backed up on most iClouds is backups of phones and iPads, which again is like an iPhone. So we received that and we processed that information and gave that to Detective Reese to start looking through.
And this page is 111 of your report. The next image is 112. Can you describe what's shown here?
This is another consolidated bit of information that I obtained from a number of different sources when it pertained to his iCloud return that Apple provided us. You can see that we have the name that was associated with the account was Blaise Taylor, with his address listed as 1903 Ashton Avenue. A handful of email addresses that were associated with his account, along with a series of devices that were associated with his account, along with phone numbers that were associated with his account, so on and so forth.
And you listed off an iPhone that you received. Did you receive an iPhone 7 or iPhone 12?
No, nor iPhone X or an Apple Watch or anything from that list.
So you did not receive the actual cell phone device or any of the devices connected to the Apple Watch?
Some of these iPads very well could have been those iPads that were listed in that line item, but no phones that were related to this iCloud.
Did you receive any devices that had activity related to this time frame of November 2022 to February of 2023?
No physical devices.
And the next page, which is 113, can you describe what's shown here?
This is kind of a cover page, if you will, that Apple sends with their return data. Basically just saying who the account is associated with, name, phone number, address, email address, so on and so forth.
And does it list a time period?
That the time period, it says 1/1 of 23 to 7/4 of 23.
And is it correct that Apple sent data that they associated with that time period?
That's correct. Again, I didn't see the search warrant, but the assumption is that's the search warrant that, or the time frame within the search warrant that Detective Reese submitted to Apple, which is why they would have listed that there.
And do those generally include language related to backups?
Yes.
And the next page is 114. Can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, this is a series of entries into the Apple Wallet, and it could have been on any number of devices that were backed up on his cloud, but ultimately these were just ways to further identify the information found in this cloud as associated with Blaise Taylor. Similar to what I was doing with Jade's phone, I do the same thing with clouds, again, trying my best to identify who the owner or user of that data was.
And did you ultimately give that data to Detective Reese?
Yes,
Was it somewhat voluminous?
very, very.
And
Over 5 million messages.
Is Detective Reese a little bit more familiar with kind of the contents of that iCloud return?
Yes.
Did you assist him with any questions that he had and kind of looking at some of that data to connect it to Ms. Benning's data?
Yes.
And you said that you did not receive any of those cell phones.
None of those that were listed in his account information from Apple.
Okay. The next kind of topic I want to get to is the blink camera that I pointed out in one of the photographs. This is page 115. Did you look to see if Ms. Benning's iPhone had any evidence of footage from that blink camera?
Yes.
And the next image is page 116 of the report. Can you describe what's shown here?
Yes, when the term blink was just entered into the search feature of the software, you can see that there's some recorded dates and times for activity with the device. Interestingly, a note to note, I should say, is that the device was showing offline starting on 2/22/23 at 8:37 a.m. and continued to show offline as the app reached out to the camera trying to access it. During that attempted communication via the internet with the device, it continuously showed offline.
And what's the next date after the 2/22/23 where there was anything in Ms. Benning's iPhone related to that camera?
The next date is 2/26/23 at 7:08 p.m. And that's indicating that motion was detected with that camera.
And the next page, which is 117, can you describe what's shown here?
Again, it's further detail into the motion that was detected on 2/26/23 at 7:11:31 p.m.
And the next page is 118. Can you describe what's shown here?
This is a still shot of the view of that camera inside of the kitchen, kind of looking over the stove there. It was created on 2/22/23 at 2:48:40 p.m.
And this image is on her phone, correct?
It is. It's stored within the database of the Blink app. It's a cached image, so it's most likely an image that would appear representing the view of the camera, not necessarily the current view of the camera.
Did you look for any and all footage related to this camera?
Yes.
And are these the only things that existed as an artifact on her phone?
There was a snapshot of the application being open, of the Blink application being open at one point when we downloaded her phone. That snapshot still existed there, but that's also very expected as well. But between these and that's all we could find in relation to Blink.
Which the next page was us getting to the snapshot for an actual image on the phone that
Yes.
wasn't that
Correct.
type of snapshot.
Correct. I'm sorry. Yes.
This was the only thing that was there.
Yes.
And the next page is 119. Can you describe what's shown here?
This is the snapshot I was just referring to. So just that image that Apple stores for of applications that are currently open, kind of just that snapshot that I was referring to earlier.
And can you read the created date and time here?
2/26/23 at 9:37:01 p.m.
Okay. And do you know anything about kind of when this image was captured as compared to when that KTX file was made?
When this image, this is the KTX image,
Right.
correct?
The KTX image, can you describe how reliable is that created date and time, access date and time?
So that's actually going to be a very reliable image, or date and time for that image, for that application state.
And can you explain the next page, which is 120?
So this is going to be the phone, the native phone application on the phone for an Apple device, specifically highlighted on the recent phone calls portion. Again, it's a KTX, so it's a snapshot of that phone application being open.
And so if someone had Ms. Benning's phone and they had the passcode and they swiped away a page, is that what would have caused that KTX file to be deleted?
The KTX file, that part gets deleted later on when it's actually live is when the KTX file is created, when it's actually open on the phone. But when it's swiped away, it isn't immediately deleted. It's just stored away for a period.
But these images are just those pages
Yes.
being open on the phone.
Correct. These were just applications that were actively open on the device at the time of extraction.
I can have just one moment. the parties are gonna agree to put this copy of the exhibit into evidence, so if we can have this as well as the disc, I want
That copy of that.
record to be accurate. Thank you.
29.
Need the package.
I think that one's edited.
Okay.
Thank you, Detective Miller. I don't have any more questions at this time, that you might end up being resolved.
Okay.
Your Honor, may we approach briefly before I start cross-examination?
Sure. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's exhibit 29. Good afternoon, Detective Miller.
Good afternoon.
It's fair to say, and I think probably won't be a shock to this jury, that there's an absolutely tremendous amount of information on a cellular phone, right?
Yes.
And you described a little bit of this during your testimony, but the way you conduct a review of a cell phone is you're not just kind of scrolling through information, are you?
To an extent, that's what you're doing, but there is somewhat of a method to the madness.
So you reference search terms, right?
That's one of the things we use, yes.
Okay. So you sit down with somebody and come up with a set of terms to help you kind of focus in on places to look on a phone?
It's one way we do it, yes, sir.
And in this case, was Detective Reese the person you sat down with?
Yes, one of the people, yes.
Who were the other people you worked with?
General Norman.
Okay. So you and Mr. Norman and Detective Reese at various points in time worked together to come up with terms?
Correct.
In addition to search terms, what are the other ways that you'll look through a phone?
So, having looked through a number of devices, I know where a lot of information resides inside of certain databases. So, there's a number of repositories that I go directly to right off the bat that I find different things. Again, it's hard to say exactly in this order. It's hard to say it's the same for every single crime because not all of them are going to be the same. So, all investigations are different. So, I would have to say that the ways that I search through phones and analyze the evidence that we have extracted is going to be different every single time as well.
So one way might be, you know, a date, like February 25th, 2023. That's an important date, right?
Yes.
And you can create a timeline of everything that happened on that date.
That is one way you can do it, yes.
And that'll show you locations, right?
Hmm?
It'll show you all the communications, right?
Yes.
It'll show you some of this very, very technical, like every time the phone was locked and unlocked kind of data.
Yes.
Probably stuff none of us even know is going on with our phone.
Most things we don't know that's going on our phone is most of the information that's being displayed there, yeah.
Sure, but that's a pretty directed, I know a date and I've got to look at that date kind of investigation.
That is correct.
Generally, you're not going to like open up messages and look through thousands and thousands or even hundreds of thousands of messages.
Well, I mean, there's times for things of that nature, but I mean, obviously we know that looking through hundreds of thousands of messages is not a viable option. It's not as easy as it sounds.
So just for example, and we'll maybe talk more about this later, but when you were searching for evidence of drug use,
yes.
did you just open up Jade's messages and start scrolling through messages until you found evidence of drug use?
Well, first steps were key terms. In that sense, yes.
Okay, so you did search terms, right?
Correct.
And what popped up that might have led you to look around those messages?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Or identified individuals that we would have looked more at, or conversation threads. Yeah, sure.
And in order to define in order to define those key terms, you had to know something about the case, right?
Of course.
Was there at any point, did you kind of on your own direct the way the search went in this case?
Of the device?
Yeah.
Of course, I was analyzing the digital evidence.
So as you find something, you might look a little bit further and bring that information back.
And it might lead me to a different artifact that I find important or not important, and I share it with the lead detective. Yes.
During that process, were there conversations where the team says, we just don't want to look at this stuff at all, we'd rather focus here? This is big picture.
I don't know that there was at any point anybody saying that we aren't concerned with anything that occurred in this window.
Okay. Let's talk for a second about I want to go through a couple of the things that you that have been in your, I guess it's not really a report in this presentation that is
Yes, sir.
kind of prepared. The timeline that you did for February 25th, 2023, that was an important date, right?
Yes.
And so did you, during the course of your investigation, review kind of every single thing that happened on February 25th, 2023?
Most things.
Most things.
Yes.
Were there some things that you specifically did not look at?
Yes, as it relates to some of the processes that applications are completing underneath the hood that have zero to do with the input or use of the device that the owner or user of the device would have had anything to do with.
So really the really technical kind of nitty gritty stuff, you didn't worry too much about.
When you get to a granular point, it's so minute that it really doesn't have any bearing on you as the user.
But in terms of communications, you looked at all of those communications.
For that day,
Yes.
I would say yes. I've looked at all of this stuff a lot, yes.
Okay. And I apologize, we're going to just have to flip right to some of these in this presentation. Do my best not to get these out of order. If I could publish this to the picture. Thank you. At 6:43, there's a text message from, actually I think it's a text message, received from, the name is Porter Jairus. Is that right?
That's how it's stored in her device, yes.
That's how it's stored in her phone. I think you refer to him as Mr. Porter or Jairus Porter.
I said Porter Jairus or Jairus Porter, one of the two.
I noticed that you put those text messages in there several times throughout this timeline. During that evening.
As texts appear, I was placing them in there, yes.
Was that a name that you had noted at other times during your review of Miss Weber's phone?
I didn't analyze Miss Weber's phone.
I'm sorry, Miss Benning's phone.
Okay, can you repeat the question?
Was that a name that you had noted at other times in analyzing Miss Benning's phone?
Objection, Your Honor, to relevance.
Go ahead, did you search that name?
I did search that name, yeah, on that date, yes.
Just on that date?
I'm sure I looked for it and saw it in other times throughout this extraction.
Did you note a significant number of communications between Miss Benning and Jairus or Jairus Porter?
I don't recall ever identifying a number of messages between them.
Well, I wanted to ask about some of these messages that we have. It was slightly less than 20 minutes after she received the text from Mr. Taylor, she talks to Mr. Jarris, right?
Well, she received a text from him.
Receives a text. And are there additional communications that you noted throughout the evening from Mr. Jarris?
I believe there's a few more, yes.
So at 6:55, she responds
Yes.
back to him?
Yes.
At 7:07, there's an additional text message.
Yes.
Were there any additional messages that you noted or were able to identify from Mr. Jarris after Miss Benning was in the hospital?
Yes, he sent a handful of messages, yes.
And when were those?
I don't recall the exact date.
Remember they were immediately after she was in the hospital or a day later?
Like I said, I don't recall the exact date or time.
And you think you did review all of their text messages during the course of your investigation?
I reviewed a number of things. I can't swear to saying I've looked at every single text message between the two of them.
Okay. This text, or this Snapchat message, I know you indicated Snapchat is a little harder to track down. Based on your review, do you believe the time and date on this is accurate for the Snapchat message?
I do believe that.
And were you able to identify who the sender of this Snapchat message was based on your review?
No.
And this message indicating, I'm already fucked up, there was no follow-up to this message?
Not that I could find, no.
And that was sent at 2/25/2023 at approximately 7:01 p.m.
Yes.
And there's no other context for that message.
That I could find, no.
Just hitting a couple things I noted. You testified about this location information that you believe was a Walmart,
Yes.
and that's because it says Walmart on that map.
And I'm familiar with that exact address and location.
Like you've been there, or you had to Google it or something.
Like I was a patrol officer in that zone.
Okay, so you have personal familiarity. You've been there before.
Yes.
This location information, does it provide or is stored how long Miss Benning's phone was at that location?
This is a parked car location, so it's not a time frame. It's just stating that the car was parked at that location.
Okay, so it just is like marking that the car was there. So there's no indication of whether it was there for 30 seconds or there for 20 minutes, anything like that?
Not based on this artifact alone, no.
And you didn't find in the phone any sort of receipts or messages relating to going to Walmart?
Nope.
We don't have any information from this phone as to why she would have gone to Walmart?
Not from this device, no.
And from this device, we don't even know if she actually went into Walmart, do we?
That is correct. Do not.
Now, I presume since you looked through all of her cell phone information for 225, that you also reviewed the text messages discussing assisting a friend purchasing drugs on that day, didn't you?
Earlier in the day, yes.
Yes. And who were those messages with?
I don't recall offhand exactly who they were between.
If I were to pass you a set of messages, would it help to refresh your recollection?
It very well could.
Judge, the state is objecting to the relevance of any of the messages prior to 11/3 of 2022.
What date were you asking about? Did you look at text messages on what date?
My question right now is just about 225. I may have additional questions, but right now I'm just asking.
That's all I'm dealing with. Does this have anything to do with 229?
Yes, it's at the very end.
Okay, it starts on 4/6.
I'm just having to look at it for now. So, if you take a look at the very last page, I think it's the last or second to last page.
Yes,
Do you recognize those messages?
I do.
And what are those messages?
Text messages between Jade and a contact that she has stored in her phone titled Danny, and in parentheses, weed.
And those are messages that you reviewed in the course of your investigation of this phone?
I reviewed a number of these messages, yes.
These specific messages between her and Danny Weed?
Yes,
And there's other messages as well outside of this?
yes.
What are the nature of the messages? Well, let's just talk about the 225 messages right now. What were the nature of the messages on 225?
Attempting to obtain some items for a friend.
And what is she asking for?
Specifically on 225, hey, my coworker wants to get a half from you.
Okay. And so that's the day of this incident, right?
Yes.
And there's no specific follow-up in those messages, right?
Other than Danny texting back saying, I'll get back with you when I get back, or I got you when I get back.
I got you. Right?
Yeah.
So that was, I mean, that's all the way up to the day that she was meeting with Mr. Taylor, right?
Correct.
And there were, as you noted, a significant number of those kind of communications, right?
There was a few with large gaps in between them as well.
Okay. What's a few?
A few conversations.
Yeah.
I don't want to put a number on it. I can't say for sure, but I do know that in this text string, they would have 3 or 4 messages, and then go 2 or 3 weeks, sometimes a month, sometimes 2 months, and then 2 or 3 messages. It was a sporadic text string.
But she was at least somewhat consistently obtaining or helping friends obtain drugs. Is that fair?
Depends on your definition of consistently, but
More than once or twice during the time frame that you reviewed the phone.
yes,
Is that fair?
yes,
Maybe more than 5 times?
maybe.
Maybe more than 10?
I can't say.
And in that message on 2/25/2023, they don't actually state the drugs that they're buying, do they?
Not on that one, no.
Let's talk for a second about a phone that is on lock status, which you described. When a phone's on locked status, can you open it without the PIN?
It depends on what you mean by open it.
You can make a phone call, right? Like if someone calls you, can you answer the phone?
Yes, somebody could answer a phone that is locked.
And you can open the camera function and take a picture, right? For the lock screen?
That is correct.
But could you open it up and manipulate the phone otherwise?
Not without the PIN, though.
You would need the PIN. So you noted that, trying to flip to the right page here. Page 35, that Miss Benning's phone was locked at 9:35 and didn't open again on 2:25 and didn't open again until 6:44 a.m. on 2:26. Is that correct? I know it's not the highlighted one, but it's
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure we were on the same page is all. Well, not literally, but figuratively.
There's
We're on the
another
same
page, but instead of me flipping through a bunch of pages, I'm just going to use this one. So,
Fair enough, fair enough.
So up near the top here, it's actually the one that's highlighted.
Yes,
So on 2:25, it says it's locked at 9:35 and does on 2:25 and doesn't open again until 6:44 at 2:26.
that's correct.
So other than answering a phone call and potentially taking a photograph, that suggests that the phone was not opened or manipulated in any way.
That does suggest that, correct.
I want to ask you a few questions about the photographs that were taken of Blaise and Jade, Mr. Taylor and Miss Benning, in their apartment between 9:24 and 9:28. Okay? So this is essentially the list of those photographs. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that's just kind of a close-up of that metadata, just to orient ourselves.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't have the great digital versions of these. But all of these photos were taken in about 4 minutes, is that right?
In a short period of time, yes.
So if we go back to this. If the first photograph was taken at 9:24 and the last photograph was taken at 9:28, it's at about 4 minutes?
So it's about that, yes.
Okay. So that's the first two. And these were all, none of these were deleted, right? These were all still on the phone?
That correct.
Just make sure we got that. These were still on the phone.
Yes.
These were still on the phone.
Yes.
These are still on the phone.
Yes.
This is the only one that you've indicated was found in deleted photos. Is that right?
From that series.
And the information here is that it's deleted about just under 30 seconds after it was taken. Is that right?
Yes.
Were you in your investigation able to find any information as to why it was deleted?
No.
Text messages, no notes, nothing indicating why it was deleted.
Suggesting that I would find a text within 30 seconds
Yeah.
that she texted somebody else that she took a picture, deleted a picture she just took?
Yeah.
No.
So nothing on here is suggested why it was deleted, right? It was just deleted.
That is correct.
Things happen, right? People delete pictures.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't. I got it. Just making sure there wasn't some suggestion. hang on one second. I want to ask you a couple questions about the blink. I want to ask you a couple questions about the blink information that you were able to find. Okay? The first thing, while I'm sort of pulling these up, is this was a new concept to me before this case. I'm sure you are much more familiar with it, and I know you kind of explained it, but it was a little quick. A KTX file is a special kind of file is it just an Apple phone or any phone?
Well, a KTX file is specifically in an Apple phone, as far as I am aware. It could be in other devices. It is a file type. It could be in a number of different devices out there in the world. I can't speak to that, but I know that it's a unique file type that is identifiable with snapshots found within iPhones.
And it's not a screenshot, right? That's a different thing.
That is completely different, yes.
Is it the kind of thing, and tell me if I'm explaining this wrong, where you like swipe up your phone and you see a bunch of windows hovering there? Those little windows are the KTX files?
That is correct.
Okay. So those are the temporary files, kind of what we're talking about.
Yes.
In order to create a KTX file, does someone have to be using the phone?
I can't speak to that specifically.
Do you know if a KTX file can be created when it is in locked status?
I can't, like I said, I can't speak to that.
Well, help me understand, from your knowledge, how is a KTX file created?
It is created when a snapshot, when Apple decides a snapshot needs to be created of that application. We could work under the assumption, again, I can't speak to all of the in and outs of what Apple does in their software, how, when, and why they do it. Okay, they're a chef and they don't want to share their recipes to all of their specialties, right? So they don't share all their information with us. So I can't speak to exactly when it was created or when it's removed, but I know that it is created and it identifies an application that is open in the background of your device.
Based on your, and I appreciate that, based on your understanding though, is it likely created when someone is using the phone in that manner? Like they're swiping up or doing something else that requires the creation of that temporary file?
Likely, but I can't say that it is. So, I mean, I can't say that for sure.
So let's say, for instance, on this 2/26/2023 at 9:37 p.m. KTX file, which appears to show the Blink application, right?
Yes.
And is it accurate that when you have an artifact on the phone where the created date, the access date, and the modified date are all identical, that's a good indicator that that artifact, that picture, KTX file, whatever it is probably accurate as to that timestamp?
It's indicative of software creating it.
Okay. So probably was created at that time.
Probably.
Is it reasonable in your experience and your expertise for us to say that that KTX file then was created by somebody doing something on the phone at 9:37 p.m.?
On the 26th?
On the 26th, yes.
Yes.
Now we have another KTX file. I did these probably backwards, but this is 9:27 and 39 seconds p.m. on 2/26.
Yes.
And the creation date, the access date, the modified date, they're all identical, right?
That's correct.
And this is another KTX file of kind of the call log, right?
The recents in the telephone app, yes.
So again, since that's a KTX file, that's like maybe from swiping up, looking at the phone, probably how that's created. Is that fair?
Yes.
So this is a good indicator of somebody accessing the phone somehow at that time.
Yes.
And just for reference, that's page 120. The one I looked at before is page 119. This artifact from February 22nd, 2023, this is page 118 of the exhibit. This is not a KTX file, right?
No.
This is an actual picture. I wasn't totally clear. This is something that Blink itself saves
It's something that was stored inside of that application's database.
inside of Blink itself
Inside that database, yes.
from roughly 3 days before the 225 incident.
Correct. Approximately the time that it went offline.
Okay. This page 116 is a listing of the Blink sort of activity. Is that a fair way to describe it?
That's a good way to describe it, yes.
Okay. So we have on 222 a number of entries where it says it's offline. Is that right?
That's correct.
And then for some reason there's nothing between 222 and 226.
That's correct.
Do you have any idea why, or any indication based on the information you were able to obtain as to why there is no information between 222 and 226?
Most likely notifications were turned off or something along those lines with the application.
So these, the number, mini is offline. Those are likely notifications.
That's so similar to the social media apps that I was referring to before. Many software companies require a subscription. This data is not stored on the device itself. It's stored on servers. I believe, I can't swear to it, but I believe Blink is in that category that you can't store information or data on the Blink cameras themselves. So you would actually have to be connected to the internet to reach out and find those things and or serve a search warrant to Blink's company and obtain any kind of information or data that they have stored on that account. So I believe this is the device reaching out and attempting to see if there was any motion or activity or anything like that, but when it tried, it showed that it was offline.
So, do notifications on a phone, are you able to see those in any sort of specific way?
Yes.
Do you know Blink's notifications, did they come up like this? Did they look like this?
I can't speak to that specifically.
So that's kind of your best assessment, is that this is probably a notification?
This is probably something the software noted. I can't say specifically that it was a notification that the device received a blurb that popped up on a window specific to Blink saying that your device is offline. I can't say that specifically based off of this screenshot.
So you don't know why there's that gap in there. You don't know for sure that it's because notifications were turned off.
That's why I said it could be that.
Okay.
It could be a number of different things.
Do you have any idea why there is not an indication that the device is online again before we have a 226 indication that motion is detected?
Yeah, again, no, I can't speak to that.
But like we have on here, it's all of a sudden motion is detected, and we have several entries like that on
Yes.
226.
Correct.
But no real explanation for that.
No. Not based on the data found in the phone.
just a moment. The picture, instead of me flipping my way through all these pages, the picture you indicated that you found of Miss Benning having a mocktail,
Yes.
was that something you just happened to stumble upon, or did you find that on during a specific search?
I did not search the term mocktail, so
Were you doing any kind of specific search for Miss Benning with alcoholic beverages or anything that looked like alcoholic beverages?
we did have alcohol or some variants of alcohol, I think, in our search terms, yes.
Did you note or did you find the video that she sent to someone named Des of her in a club holding a beverage?
I can't recall that specifically, no.
You don't recall that video?
No.
Would have been around November 20th?
I can't say if I don't recall it.
Just wanted to sort of orient.
Okay.
Your Honor, those are my questions.
Any redirect? Yeah, you can give me that.
No, Your Honor, but the state may need to recall Detective Miller.
Oh, okay. All right,
Thank you.
Then take those on.
Yes, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the jury, rather than getting into the next witness, which may be the medical examiner, we're going to recess for the day instead of splitting up the testimony from that witness. Remember what I've said about not discussing the case, forming any opinion about it, looking things up, viewing media, anything like that. Leave your notes up here. That room will be locked. Tomorrow, if you report like you did this morning downstairs, 8:45, 8:50, we'll get you here. When you're all here as a group, we'll bring you up and resume the trial. You can step down the hallway with the court.